Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politarhos. For more information, visit betrayawealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
George, the kids are getting ready to go back to school in the next couple of weeks, go back to college. Kind of weird to think that it's been a great couple of weeks, been a good summer, but it's almost behind us.
My mother, God bless her, would always say to us, the older you get, the faster time goes by. It picks up a pace. It's amazing.
True.
And it's so true. Kids are going back to school and college next week. It's really funny. I think the idea about having your feet in the sand, you have your head buried in the sand, you got to get them both out by now, folks. Time to come back to reality. We had a good summer, wet up here. Thank God we had rain, but let's get back on course, getting ready to get that retirement plan done, making sure we have our ducks in a row. How about this? Making sure you understand where you're at, where you want to go, and how we're going to get there. And if there's a problem, we need time to fix it. When you give us a call, 302-330-2166, we're going to help you get the Family First Retirement Plan. My job, my team's job, is to make sure you have the information, the education, and the knowledge to go forward and make the right choices with your retirement planning.
I love how you said that. We've spent all summer with our feet in the sand. Now it's time, and we're guilty. I'm guilty of this. I'll put my head in the sand and saying, you know what? I'll deal with that later. I'll take care of that later. Well, guess what? Later is now officially here. And this time of the year is when things really start to pick up at the Betraya Wealth Group, because people start thinking about the end of the year tax planning, income planning, risk in a portfolio. And that's why we invite you to call today, 302-330-2166. It's a personalized, a customized Family First Retirement Plan from George Politarhos. Kind of walk me through that, George. What do I get with that Family First Retirement Plan?
I do all the talking usually, right, Mark? When we have our radio show, we have our seminars, I'm the one talking to you.
Yep.
When you come in, you're going to be talking to me. We're going to gather some information for you, how much money you have currently coming in, where the money's coming from, a salary, whatever it may be, what tomorrow's going to look like with your income plan. So when you retire, how are we replacing that paycheck? We're going to have a pension. You're so blessed if you have a pension. Let's be realistic. Most of us don't. We're going to talk about Social Security. We're going to talk about your 401k, your thrift savings plan, your 403b, the things you earmarked for retirement and how we're going to use that money going forward. We're going to go over a tax strategy. You know, taxes are a big concern for people. How we're going to use it and play within the rules is what we're going to look at, where we're going to be in the next 5, 10, 15 years. And obviously, we're going to go over Social Security, long-term care, how we're going to pay for it. And obviously, with Medicare having open season about 2 months away, we're going to discuss Medicare options for you, making sure you make the right choices and have the understanding which plan works best for you. I was talking to Leslie the other day, and we've been married for about been together 35 years. That's about 13,000 days I've been with my wife. It went by really fast. I mean, how are the next 13,000 days going to be for you in retirement? Give us a call here at Betraya Wealth Group and let us help you understand that. Either go to my website, betrayawealth.com, or give me a call, 302-330-2166, and let's make sure you have the understanding about where you're at and a plan to move forward.
And George, no matter what age you are, others in your generation often make the same financial mistakes. There was an article on famag.com that said it's because they're following certain assumptions. You know what you do when we assume. So, George, what are some of the common mistakes that you've noticed, and how can they be prevented?
I think one of the biggest things is you listen to your friends or you listen to your dental hygienist about how to properly plan for retirement. We all have our areas of expertise. Maybe your brother retired last year. That's probably the only time he ever retired in his life, A. B, he's not you.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing about this is that you speak with someone that does it every day. We don't do one retirement. We do 100 a month. And there's so many things, Mark, that people have heard over time that it must be true. One of the biggest ones is having that 4% rule about your retirement. You have this bucket of money you have earmarked for retirement. And people say, if I take 4% out a year, I should have enough money to last the rest of my life. It should be enough money. That's a big word. We just said we have 13,000 days. Do you think maybe shoulda, coulda, woulda for 13,000? You want to have a better understanding. I think that we have found in our history that people that have a pension have a better, longer retirement life. Less agita, right? You're not churning your stomach at night because they have a guarantee about having that retirement income.
I've got a question for you. We say it every week here that if you hear anything you need some clarity on, and you just mentioned the word pension right there. People here see the commercials or they talk to their friend at the water cooler and says, yeah, you know what? An annuity is not right for you. That's not a good opportunity for income in retirement. But a mistake is an annuity could be a great opportunity because it could replace a pension that you don't have.
Absolutely correct, Mark. What we do a lot at Portray Wealth is give you a personalized pension. So you worked for XYZ company. They gave you a 401k you contributed to. Maybe they matched some money in that 401k or that 403b or the 457 or thrift savings plan. But they didn't give you a pension. So now the guesswork comes down to that 4% rule. Well, if I take 4% out, I should have enough money. What happens when the market goes down by 5, 10, 15%? Do you still take 4% out? Maybe not. Or if you do, does it still last for those years? Maybe not. There's a lot of question marks. And let's use an example here. Let's look at some numbers.
Okay.
Let's say you have a $1 million retirement account, just as for simple math. And I'm taking 4% out. That gives me $40,000 a year. Okay, along with my Social Security. Okay, so I have a little income stream. That's enough for your needs and wants. But what if I could tell you and show you that we take $1 million and you're pulling $79,000 a year out of that for both you and your spouse's life? Do you like the $40,000 number or maybe that's $79,000? I like the $79,000 a little bit better, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Because I'm never going to run out of income from that product. I'm going to be alive till I'm 100. My wife Leslie's going to be alive till she's 105. That income stream is never going to stop. Great. But to think that if the 4% rule is so great and everyone has to go by it, you get these blinders on, like the Kentucky Derby horses racing on Saturday, right? And they only see this little section in front of them. They lose all the vision to the sides.
Yep.
That's what you're doing when you don't understand how the 4% rule or how an annuity can fix that pension problem. Secondly, I think that people, as we get older, our bodies are falling apart, right? We're not quite as agile, mobile as we once were. So do you think that we should still be doing the same crazy things we did when we were 25 and 30?
My body reminds me daily.
I have a hard time getting out of the chair on some Sundays after being stupid on Saturday.
Real quick, do you make the noise when you get out of the chair?
Oh, I do. I crinkle and I'm a papu age.
All right,
I make the father noises, the old man noises, which is nothing wrong if you're an older person making those noises. I do it every day. But when we sit and look at that, if my body can't recuperate as fast as it once did, what makes you think that taking too much risk with your retirement plan is going to help you recuperate faster? You need to come talk and find out exactly what it is. Getting the information and education from the people that do it every day. Hearing it with your own ears. Mm-hmm. Making sure you're asking the question, what is 1 + 1? So we can tell you it's 2. That's what I think the other big fallacy that people have and problem that they have when it comes to this. It's really about making sure you understand how your plan works because you are unique. And I think the last thing, Mark, is people have a number they think they have to retire. I call it the unicorn number, the magical number to retire. What is it? Well, I see some place it's $1 million. I see some place it's $5 million. Because if you don't have that much money, you cannot afford to retire. I don't believe that because we're all different and we're all unique. And our magical number, our unicorn number, is different for each and every one of us. I had a meeting yesterday with a woman from South Jersey, Helen, and Helen's really a nice lady. And we went through everything because Helen's a unique person, right? Because she's special. She has money saved for retirement, maybe not $1 million, but she has money saved, substantial amount. But guess what Helen doesn't have?
What?
That her next door neighbor has.
A mortgage, debt.
A mortgage, debt. She has expenses on a monthly basis. That's $10,000 a month, a neighbor. Helen has expenses because she's done everything right for all these years of $3,000 a month for retirement. So who has a better retirement? Who needs more money in retirement? Mm-hmm. Who can live on a different budget than retirement? We're all different. And when you come into Betrayal Wealth Group, and my team and I are going to help you understand that, show you where you're at and what tomorrow looks like for you. Call me at 302-330-2166 and let's see where you're at, what your number is, what tomorrow looks like. And we'll give you the Family First Retirement Plan complimentary free.
Again, that number 302-330-2166. We have a team member standing by right now. Not something to say, yeah, I'll call first of next week, or maybe I'll call next week. If you're thinking about it, make a phone call. And George, you mentioned something off the air that you're not afraid. And as a matter of fact, you're proud and honored that people need help on the weekends. You'll come in on Saturdays.
Absolutely.
You'll make the phone calls on Sundays. That's one of the positive aspects of you live here, work here, and play here. You're not an 800 number.
Absolutely. I actually am in our neighborhoods, our developments, our families. And of course, I have my kids, right? I have Alex and Jared. And there was times that during the day, during the week, I couldn't do things.
Yeah.
My nights were tied up with going back to school, lacrosse, swimming, soccer, all those things. Of course, we're here to help our community. And I have no problem helping our family members on Saturdays or Sundays. That's what this is about, Mark. It's about family, because betray in Greek means
family.
First and foremost.
So as we're talking about the kids going back to school, well, there's a lot of adults right now. Oh, man, they feel like they've done a great job of retirement. But 7% of retirees are now re-entering the workforce, a sign that retirement plans aren't holding up the way that they had hoped. Now, for many, the big driver is financial pressure. So let's talk about that. What are the biggest reasons where retirement plans fall short like this? And how do you help customize those plans differently so that we can go back to work because we want to, not because we have to?
Big difference, isn't it?
Yep.
Wants and needs. In my experience, what I've found is people think it just assumes everything falls in place. That you don't need a plan to go forward. You don't need to take things in consideration. Give me an example. I have a client that retired from the federal government as an engineer for the Defense Department. And Matt is really, really smart, just so you know. He's an engineer. He looks at things much differently than I do. Matt had a really great spreadsheet, but things he didn't think about. Inflation, COLAs, right? How about longevity? How about long-term care? How about Social Security? When to turn Social Security on? How about which plan do I take for Medicare? How do I pay for Medicare? Is the right for Medicare Advantage, which we have open season for Medicare, I think in about 2 months we have to start planning for that.
Yep.
Or do I take a supplement plan? Not thinking about where the money's going to come from in retirement. Which bucket do I pull from? Do I pull out from my tax-free investments, like 401ks right now? Do I pull out of my taxable accounts, maybe my Fidelity or Charles Schwab, which is managed funds? Do I use my pension today, Social Security today? Do I use my Roth money, the bucket? Which way do I pull from? Not having clear insight into how we're going to go forward. And all of a sudden, you're overwhelmed. You don't know what to do. That, I think, is the most problem for people. They didn't plan through. You know, I always say this, Mark, and I know it's maybe silly, but I want you to come in the office with rose-colored glasses on, folks. I want you to see the world as great as it is, how beautiful as it is. Let me be the one bringing up those things you haven't thought about. Mm-hmm. You know, we talk about long-term care, right? Every day we talk about long-term care with every client that comes in. If you are 65 years old, you and your spouse together, there's a 75% chance that one of you is going to need long-term care. Most of us don't think about that because we are still that 35-year-old Mark we talked about a little bit earlier ago, where we're never getting old.
Yeah.
We feel great.
All the time.
Not the person like you and I that get up out of the chair like, oh, and the bone cracks and I feel like, what in the heck has happened to me? But that's what's so important. They don't plan for those little things. My mother and father would always tell me that the nickels and dimes add up. These little things being pulled out of your retirement money add up. You need to plan and make sure we know where we're going. But I think the biggest problem is people don't plan enough.
That's it.
It's just like going to the beach, having your feet in the sand. Mm-hmm. And I said earlier, it's time to get your head out of the sand. I don't mean that to be disrespectful, but how many people do you know that they're going to Brigantine or Ocean City or the mountains or wherever they may go for vacation this summer, and they are planning diligently for this vacation? I mean, they have it planned out months ahead that they're going to check into the house or hotel. They're going to have dinner here. They're going to do this. So intent on who's bringing what with them. But yet when it comes to retirement, 13,000 days, what do? We wing it. Let's see what happens. It'll figure itself out.
Yep.
I think we're a little balled up, folks. I think we're a little backwards. Call me at 302-330-2166. Let's talk about it together. Get you on the right course and put the priorities where they should be. You live for today, but we have to plan for tomorrow. Let me help you plan for tomorrow the right way.
We have a representative standing by right now because I know, George, you mentioned it a couple of minutes ago about Medicare. Open enrollment is coming up in the next couple of months. Is it ever too early to get ahead of that? I know at Portray Wealth Group, y'all do a ton of work with Medicare and Medicaid, but is it ever too early to start that conversation?
No, it's not, Mark. Now, Angie handles that part of the business, and she is phenomenal at this. Even though she's semi-retired, this is still her forte, and she does a great job of it. Medicare enrollment starts October 15th till December 7th. It's not that far away. You need to start looking into how we're going to go forward. When Angie meets with you, I'll tell you some things Angie needs for this Medicare questions we have. Open enrollment, Medicare Advantage supplement plan. She needs the prescriptions you take, the drugs you use, right? Because we have to see what's going to be covered and all the costs for you going forward. And then she'll be able to lay it out for you very black and white about the difference between X, Y, and Z. And this way you can make the right choices. Because if you don't make the right choices, folks, you're locking yourself in, maybe to a detriment. We had a client call and say, well, I did all my homework. I'm going to go with this, and it works best for me. Okay, you're saying that, but let me just show you something else, just so you have all the evidence to make the right plan. You need to be a detective almost, right? That's what this is about, making the right choices. But to get back to your question, Mark, it's never the wrong time to start planning for Medicare and getting on the right course. When you call us at 302-330-2166, or you can text that number, folks, just put in their Medicare. I'll make sure Angie reaches back out to you and gets that taken care of so we can get you lined up and be in the right place when it comes time.
Insurance and annuities offered through George A. Politarhos, Delaware Insurance License Number 1373121. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.